My dear son, please, take a moment to listen. What I'm about to share isn't easy. It's a story marked by loss, strength, and quiet survival. This small house. Just 2 bedrooms on the edge of Milford, Pennsylvania. It smells of liniment and old memories. The Susquehanna River slices nearby, steady and indifferent. 3 years ago, I was someone else. I could walk down to the diner where I worked, serving meatloaf, coffee, and borrowed smiles. I had a rhythm, a purpose. Then came the accident. A drunk driver veered into my lane on Route 6. That moment stole my legs, my job, nearly my identity. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 35 now and a single mother. Life looks very different from this worn-out couch. The wheelchair in the corner, the bottles on the table, all part of the new routine. But then there's Ethan. He's 20 now, my son, my lifeline. Broad-shouldered, quiet, with those serious green eyes that say more than his words ever do. He fixes cars because they make sense to him, like the tangled emotions he keeps buried. Without him, I'd be in a state-run facility, but he chose to stay, to help, to carry the weight I no longer can. He returns home each day with the scent of motor oil and summer heat clinging to him. His voice low, steady. Ethan, mother, have you eaten today? Claire, I always want to say yes, but the truth usually hangs in the silence. I watch him tall, tired, kind as he kneels beside me, checking the brace on my knee, rubbing the tension. From tired muscles. His hands, they carry the proof of everything he's done for me. Calloused, careful. He asks gently about the pain. I nod. It hurts, but not always physically. Sometimes it's the ache of needing help, the sting of being seen as fragile, of not being able to give back the way I used to. He lifts my legs onto the couch, the way he's done 100 times. He doesn't see it as extraordinary, but I do. Every time, Claire, he covers my legs with a blanket again. Then he quietly says, I'll make dinner, and disappears into the kitchen. I sit there in the hush, thinking of all the roles I've played: waitress, daughter, wife, us. Now a mother trying to redefine herself in a body that no longer feels like her own. This house may be small, our life even smaller. But love lives here, complicated, enduring, real. I find myself revisiting that moment, his hands resting on my thigh, igniting my body like a spark in the dark. It's misguided, clear. I remind myself, yet the yearning persists, unabated. He is me son, my savior. And now, something more. Something that sends my heart racing at the sound of his truck rolling gently the driveway. He has returned home, preparing spaghetti in the kitchen, that clanging of pots creating a comforting cadence. I maneuver myself to the threshold, observing him, as he strides his broad shoulders, exuding a quiet intensity as he stretches to grasp a jar of sauce. His t-shirt lifts slightly, unveiling a tattoo on his lower back, a wrench intertwined with a rose. He acquired it last summer, yet he chosen not to reveal the reason. Text your staring, Claire, he teases, locking his gaze with mine. Heat rises to my cheeks as I mumble something about the pungent aroma of garlic. Yet there's a change in him of late. His looks hold a moment longer, and his voice softens, deepening, when he utters my name. And dear Havens, I find myself becoming aware. The doorbell pierces the tranquility of evening. Jarring and intrusive. Ethan dries his hands on a dish towel, casting a glance my way. Remain where you are, he insists, as if I possess any option in the matter. It is Mrs. Lawson, our neighbor, her voice resonating through the screen door. Merely reaching out to see how you're redoing, Ethan. Is your mother doing well? Her concern is nothing but a facade. Her eyes perpetually scanning for the latest tidbits to relay at the church potluck. I clutch the arms of my wheelchair, unknot forming in my stomach. Is she aware of it? The way Ethan lingers just a breath away? The way I find myself leaning into him almost instinctively, Ethan graciously declined her offer, tobering over a pie. We are well. Mrs. Lendot, thank you. Yet she remains extolling Heisenwavering. Commitment. What a wonderful son you are looking after your mother. In Suk a thoughtful way. I long to show that. He is not merely a boy, but a man burdened with weight too heavy for Herlamited understanding to grasp. The door closes with a definitive thud, and Ethan stands there, his back rigid, jaw clenched tight. Ah, she's quite thinquisitive. One, he mutters, sitting across from me. His knee grazes against me beneath the table, and I flinch, my fork clattering in surprise. He offers no apology, merely observes me, his green eyes a mystery. The atmosphere thickens, reminiscent of an impending tempest. As the evening unfolds, the house lies shrouded in darkness, illuminated solely by the flickering glow of a muted baseball. Game Ethan lounges on the couch next to me, his proximity more intimate than necessary. My legs throb with fatigue, yet I refrain from seeking assistance. Fear grips me at the thought of his touch and the consequences it may bring. "You're quiet tonight," he remarks, his voice growly as if he's been gnawing on his houts for far too long. I let out a small sigh, my gaze fixed on the screen, weariness settling in. He moves slightly, his arm grazing against mine. Have you ever pondered what Isa criffest? My breath falters. What is this? Helen's in, resting his elbows on Isa's knees. University. Companions, a singular extents. I remained here for you, Claire. His words landed with the force of a blow. Guilt and gratitude interning within me. I never requested you to, I murmur. He pivots his visage mere inches from my own eyes, ablaze with intensity. There was no necessity. You are my entire universe. The tone he employs, deep and intense, is not the manner in which a son addresses his mother. It is an admission, a boundary breached. I auto-distance myself, yet I remain. The television glows, its light dancing gacrous. His features, and I sense Weston on the precipice of an irreversible moment. Thunder shakes through windows of our Milford home, a late summer tempest sweeping across Pennsylvania as if it has something to demonstrate. The lights extinguish, casting us into shadow. The gentle murmur of the television giving way to the fierce wail of the wind. As I sit in the couch, a blanket draped over my lap. I can feel the familiar throb in my legs, more intense than ever before. Ethan sits beside me. His presence irradiating a warmth that is impossible to overlook. Are you all right, Claire? Inquires. His voice barely above a whisper, as if he fears shattering something delicate. I acknowledge with a nod, yet the shadows compel me truthfulness. I find myself in a state of discontent. Not with him so near, not with the way me skin recalls his touch. Oh. He ignites a candle, its flame dancing softly across his chiseled jaw, revealing green eyes that perceive far more than they should. He envelops us in a blanket, his arm grazing mine, and I remain still, no retreating. The fabric clings to our thighs, a quiet pact formed between us. The tempest raging beyond my window reflects the turmoil within a swirling vortex of chaos and desire. His hand rests on my knee, not to alleviate for him, but to ground us both. You, Claire, he whispers, and it carries no uncertainty. This serves as a cautionary note. I ought to put an end to this. I do not. His fingers gliding along my thigh, slow and intentional, causing my breath to hitch, echoing in stillness. Tell me to stop. Ethan says, his voice a gravely whisper, laced with desperation. Yet his hand continues its relentless motion. Words elude me. Thoughts dissolve in the blaze where Erskines intertwine. My silence serves as consent, and he is aware of it. He leans in, his breath warm against my cheek, and thaw his lips. Find mine with an intensity that speaks of longing as I've has been yearning. For this moment, I return to kiss my fingers, gripping his hurt, drawing him nearer. Misguided. Misguided, yet it embodies our essence. Unrefined, audacious, authentic. His stain glides against mine, and I inhale sharply, my body instinctively curving toward him. The blanket slips from our grasp, neglected as he draws closer. A blend of strength and yearning. My fingers sink into his shoulders, nails grazing the skin, and he lets out a groan. A sound that ignites a warmth deep within me. You sense it, he murmurs against my lips, his hips pressing down. Here, where? The flickering flame sways, creating silhouettes that conceal our transgressions. We are not bound by theses of mother and son. Here we are, an entity unto ourselves, a culmination of experiences forged in the aftermath of that fateful accident that took away Alels. We separate, breathless, as the tempest continues to howl beyond the walls. The candle has extinguished, plunging us into shadow. Yet I sense Ethan's gaze upon me, laden with through it of our actions. My lips ache. My body quivers with a shameful desire. Claire, he begins, his voice trembling, but I interrupt him, refrain. The sound deludes me, and I find myself unable to confront the stark reality of what has just transpired. My son pressed his lips against mine, and I returned the gesture with a kiss of my own. Wetterwetrally, he extends his hand toward me, yet I retreat, drawing inward on the coach. The power surges back to life, a blinding light spilling into the room, laying us bare. Ethan's shirt hangs into Sarah, his hair tasseled, and I cannonly assume I mirror his disheveled state. We can undo this. He states his tone devoid of remorse, yet filled with conviction. I nod, my eyes brimming with tears. A desperate urge to scream and flee surges within me, yet my legs remain unyielding, rooted in place. Hellingers for a moment, uncertainty etched on his face before making his way to Thekachin, leaving me to grapple with the heaviness of our decision. The tempest outside may be waning, yet the turmoil within me is only just awakening. We have traversed a threshold, and retreat is no longer an option. Half a year hospiced, and our Milford house seems tosh-rink around us, its walls burdened with secrets that weigh heavily on Thier. Ethan and I tread lightly. Now, our Karis is concealed behind drawn curtains. On my left hand, a simple silver ring rests. A subtle deception silences the inquiries from neighbors regarding the dating life of a single mother. We have transcended thorls of mother and son, lost in the shadows where his hands seek me. And me whispers silence the weight of remorse. Yet the dawn unveils a sense of disgrace, piercing like the ache in my limbs. Ethan is transformed as well. His green eyes now gentle, as if he has discovered tranquility within our transgressions. He remains at Thegridge, still hoisting me into my heel chair. Yet his touch lingers, a whisper of what is to come. We are a fuse reduced to ash, yet the fire remains, quietly smoldering beneath the surface. Whether it's love or madness remains a mystery, yet it belongs to us. And for the time being, that suffices. Mrs. Len intercepts us in the grocery store, her grin wide and gleaming. Ethan, you truly are a saint, tending to your mother in such a way, she remarks, glancing at my ring. I compel and nod, my grip on Ethan's hand growing firmer. Kay grips firmly, unwavering, as if challenging the universe to take notice. She doesn't, far too occupied with her chitter about the church bake sale. Wet apart. The sound of my wheel cherishing softly, while his strides remain confident. Not a soul suspects. Not a single glance is cast anew. In this way, we endure concealed within Thier Dinery, our reality masked by the facade of small-town niceties. In Necker, Ethan's hand lies on mine, warm and unrepentant. The Saskatchewan sparkles in the sunlight, unbothered by the world around it. We journey home side by side, yet solitary, tethered by a love that holds the power to unravel us. The future looms like a shadow, yet in Thismum we are sufficient. I refrain from glancing back. Thanks for listening.